receiving inspiration and guidance in anything that wants to come through for service to others. Man, what has been very good for me today and literally today and in the past, but a lot more focused today, is prayer. So I have been aware of apathy and pockets of passivity and neglect in my life, and how that kind of energy state of apathy shows up in my life. And this has been a pattern that's been around for quite a while. And it's gotten to the point where it's like, I literally don't know what to do with this, right? But I feel like I found a solution. So that's what I'm going to share here. David Hawkins says that there will be unanticipated periods of difficulty to be expected, and that those are patterns of generally unconscious patterns coming to surface to be recognized. As in, these patterns were like already present, but these periods of difficulty will arise, which is literally just these patterns coming up to be recognized so that they can be healed, you know? And David Hawkins also talks a lot about, he calls it invoking the spiritual will. So it's this idea that if you do not use like an intention, basically your default consent will just go to like your normal energy range, which is very often more entropic and doesn't really have much power to really transform even little things, right? But if you surrender to and invoke the spiritual will, which is the highest good and the divine will, that is extremely powerful, you know. And obviously one of the best ways of practicing that is prayer, you know. Prayer is a very powerful way of practicing bhakti and devotion. It is an extremely powerful way of setting intentions and impressing intentions on your subconscious mind. And I feel like intention and consent are very, you know, the consent with which and the structure with which your body and mind expresses itself through, I feel like that is very closely related to intention, you know. So if I go into prayer multiple times a day to commune with my spirit and to seek and intend to be in alignment with the law of one, to be in alignment with what's loving at all times, and I then radiate love to my environment and the planet and all of creation, that's a very powerful intention, you know? And I surrender to the divine will and so on and so forth. I feel like that's a really simple but really, really powerful practice for coming back into alignment with natural law and transcending those blocks of ego. Because I feel like so often, this has definitely been my experience, I can go through seasons. You know, Aaron talks about this. He calls it the ascension spiral. So you go through periods of feeling super expansive and joyful and blissful and so connected to God, but then you'll also go through seasons of like, oh my God, where Kundalini is just bringing up all of those latent patterns, right? So that they can be purified and released to create more space for love, more space to receive that light, that brilliance, that radiance, that miraculous service to others, that joy, that peace, you know? And so I'm seeing prayer as a really powerful way of cooperating with this process of incarnation, this process of becoming lucid in this dream. So yeah, I wanted to share that. I'm also really happy to be doing content creation and creating videos. I'm really seeing that power of service to others, you know, that service to others principle. Spoken to this so many times before, and I'm sure I will continue to speak to it because I think it's just one of the most incredibly powerful things. Whatever you give grows, and whatever you give you must be the source of, and you receive equally what you give. It's just an expansion generator, you know? Yeah, so It seems to be working pretty well. Bit of prayer, I've just set timers on my phone, and I feel like that's a strong way of training myself to be in a state of surrender and to be in a state of bhakti and devotion. And it's really convenient because it doesn't have to be this epic 2-hour meditation, you know. Not that you can't do those things, obviously, but like you can easily set 3 alarms on your phone and be like, okay, I'm going to meditate three times a day, and it can be a 20-second meditation or a 5-minute meditation or prayer, you know. Very simple and easy to integrate and implement, which is very cool. I've had so many experiences of being in different environments and just taking a few seconds to really connect in a prayer, you know, where there's space, where you just bless and radiate infinite love, light, peace, and joy to all of creation. And it is literally like you're radiating that energy, and it's fascinating because it manifests. It really manifests, not only instantly because like you're radiating love and peace and joy, like that's the energy you're emitting, giving, and thus receiving in equal proportion, but also it comes back, you know. So you get the instant, wow, this energy feels amazing, like just in this beautiful radiance and radiatingness and givingness and fully receiving life, but also it comes back around really beautifully. And I feel like this is such a powerful way to be of service to others as well, because you're practicing a particular state. So let's say, this is an analogy that Aaron uses a lot. He says, if you've got a guitar and a drum, say you hit the drum in the key of D, the D will resonate on the guitar nearby. So it's this idea of sympathetic resonance, right? So if you're practicing this prayer where you're radiating and giving love and light and peace and joy, and you're in that gratitude receiving state, it's like everything and everyone around you is going to resonate with that energy, which is just so beautiful and powerful because it's so centered in wholeness and abundance and reality. So